Okay, so the inputs that you're going to want to be getting used to here are pressing A, Y, and right all at the same time. You're actually maybe pressing Y a little bit before A, just to be sure that the tongue actually comes out before dismounting. But you're essentially pressing 3 inputs basically at the same time. And it looks something like this when you do it right. Now the tricky thing is you actually have to press, you have to hold Y and you have to hold forward, but you don't want to hold A. If you hold A, you end up doing, I guess you just end up doing this, and you kind of do like a big jump like that. I guess I should be showing this with the fire flower so there's not like gliding happening, but you don't want to do like a big spin jump. You want to do a tap spin jump. So you're tapping the A button, but you're holding Y and holding forward. That's what makes it a bit of a finger puzzle is, you know, one of your fingers is kind of doing one quick motion where the other ones are kind of holding. So that's sort of what's going on there. When you do it right, you can see that you'll kind of land right in front of Yoshi's mouth. You'll kind of pass by his head as you're spinning when you do it correctly. And you'll also see his tongue come out if you do it correctly. If his tongue doesn't come out, it means you're pressing A before pressing Y. If anything, you should maybe err on the side of pressing Y first for that reason, because it's okay to press Y a little bit early, but it's not okay to press A too early. And if you do it right, you'll kind of see Mario like run in front of his head, and as soon as Mario lands, his tongue will kind of go lower. It's hard to see because it all happens quickly, but this is sort of the motion that you're looking for. You're looking for Mario kind of doing this, where he kind of passes right in front of Yoshi's head, while the tongue comes out, and you like run forward like that. So that's the motion you're looking for. This is like the input string that you want to be practicing. You don't even need to worry if anything is latching onto his tongue. If it looks like you're doing this right, then you are. In principle, at least. So, that's the input string that you need to be practicing. And once you get used to that, you can practice doing the same thing, but like when you're already running forward. So I like start running forward, and then I just do the input string in the middle of my run. It's the exact same inputs, nothing really changes, but you'll notice that you kind of like, you're running forward and then you kind of stall to do the inputs. And what ends up happening is it creates a sort of like stall in your running motion that kind of slows you down. And that's just enough to slow you down that the 1-up has time to kind of get away from you, and then you kind of catch back up to it, which is what you want. So when you actually go to do the so-called item swap, you will be like running as close as you can. You'll be running toward the 1-up and trying to get as close as you can before doing the input string. So I'm like running toward the 1-up, and then I do the input string like that. And I want to do the input string kind of as late as possible before touching the 1-up. So those are kind of all the important steps. Getting behind the 1-up is a little bit tricky. First of all, I switch to Fire Flower just so the cape doesn't get in the way of my movement or like knock the 1-up away or something. But I also duck jump and then dismount against the ceiling to give myself a little bit of extra air time so that I don't collect the 1-up on accident on the way down or something. And so I also kind of try to jump late there. So we'll try to see what it all looks like in one motion here, if I can pull it off. Need to make sure you use the 1-up that started on the left side. I might have messed that up there. Nope, we're good. Okay. I'm gonna have to wait a cycle here because I was slow. Okay, so I switched to Fire Flower. Do that. Ooh, okay, so what happened there was I pressed A before Y, so the tongue didn't come out. Otherwise, I think it might have worked. So I need to be more conscious of that and maybe try to press Y a little bit before A, if I can help it. Come on. Oh no, it despawned. Yeah, getting that in one cycle can be kind of tricky. Sometimes one of the 1-ups goes the other way. This should be good. Okay. There we go. So all I did was, after kind of touching the corner here, I started running to the right, and then I just did the input string as soon as I got close to the 1-up. It kind of becomes muscle memory after a certain point. And the timing window is actually not that precise. You'll notice Yoshi is like roughly on this part of the rope, but you're not looking at where you need to stand. What you're looking at is like how close you are to the 1-up, because that's really the important thing. You just need to make sure the 1-up actually goes on his tongue and that you catch up to it, because as you're running to the right, the camera is going to be panning very quickly, and it will pan far enough to load the message box. So you don't need to worry about your positioning as much as you need to worry about making sure the 1-up actually goes on his tongue. So your positioning is sort of relative to where the 1-up is. Now, if you're too late, then you might collect it either too late or maybe the 1-up will like roll off of the edge here or something. I don't think it's really feasible to be too early. All you're really trying to do is just get the item swap to happen at all, and if it does, you will probably eat the message box, from my experience. So it's just about getting that input string in there. I'll try to do it one more time real quick. See if I can... Okay, so this time I can actually just collect those like that. Okay, so that was too late. So that's an example of being too late. Well, I think what actually happened there was I just started running from the left. I waited too long after getting behind the 1-up, and I let it get too far away. So the message box loaded before I had collected it. That's about as late as you can be without the 1-up just like not going on his tongue at all. But anyway, that's another example where I was too late. Knowing how to like debug what you did wrong is pretty important when you're trying to learn it. But really, it's just about getting those inputs in muscle memory, and then just practice it a few times, and it'll just kind of work at some point.